Yeah, let's get to Rockets Warriors game 3. Jimmy Butler was out this one. You'll see him sitting on the bench with that gluteal contusion. We're going to start in the third quarter. Warriors trail 4. Stephen Curry. Yep. Hump fake. Do you see how he let that guy fly by? See ya. Warriors down 1. A little shimmy, of course. Under 5 left in the third. Warriors down 3. Stephen Curry once again. A little floater plus the foul. Look at this move by Curry. And then the dance move. That's what I'm talking about specifically on the floor. Next Warriors possession. Curry once again drains another 3 off the screen. Warriors now up 2. You go to the fourth. Halfway through, it's a 2-point game. Dylan Brooks nails a 3, puts the Rockets up 1. 5 minutes left in the game. Warriors up 1 now. Gary Payton looking shifty himself. Warriors go up 3. Just over 4 minutes left. The Warriors now up 1. Curry to Payton for the corner 3 bucket. Warriors now lead by 4. Under 4 remaining. Payton into the paint. Look at how easy that was. Oh, Gary Payton Sr. is there too. Loving his son's performance. Over 3 remaining. Warriors up 6. Just in Jalen Green's face. That's embarrassing. Pull up. You can't guard me. Curry had 36 points, 9 assists, 5 3-point field goals. But after the Warriors win, 104-93, look at Draymond Green and Jalen Green. Just a green on green action there. Warriors still get the dub. All right, we're back with Quentin Richardson. What impressed you most about Stephen Curry's performance last night?
It wasn't the shot making. We've seen Steph shoot the ball from everywhere, from all over the world, and make crazy shots. It was the way that he stood through and battled through the defense. He had taller, more physical, stronger guys chasing him. He was getting doubled. He was getting blitzed off of pick and roll. Look at the action that he was demanding. He was demanding so much attention and so many eyes on him. I felt like the best thing he did was just fought through it. I haven't seen him have to go through that type of physicality. He was being held. He was being grabbed. That was a masterclass in movement without the ball and just fighting through all of that contact.
Yeah, and he was having fun while doing it. But here's the thing. No other players scored more than 17 points. Can they rely this much on Stephen Curry and still win the series?
It's not ideal. I usually would say no, but I mean, when Steph is doing things like this, if they get Jimmy back to help that, I think they can.
All right. The Warriors are now 8-3 this season when Steph scores at least 35 points. Game 4 is tomorrow.
There is something about institutional knowledge when it comes to the postseason. The Golden State Warriors showed it, plus 13 in the fourth quarter. They also still happen to have one of the great players on the planet, even at this advanced age. Steph Curry with 36, and the Warriors have taken a 2-1 lead without Jimmy Butler on the floor in their first round series over the Houston Rockets. That brings us to Playoff Central Live, presented by State Farm. Matt Weiner, Earl Watson, Robert Ory right there. It's a 2-7 matchup. It doesn't always feel like that because you can see the young Rockets kind of learning on the job here in the postseason, things that a lot of these Golden State guys know.
Yeah, but they're still playing against legacy. They're playing against two guys who know to win championships, been in every situation, Draymond and Steph. They're playing against two guys who don't want to give the torch up and do not want to pass it up. And two guys, when you think of Golden State, Rob, you think about offense, you think about threes, think about Steph playing off the bounce, getting off of it, getting it back. But really, they define themselves defensively.
Yeah, for me, when you think about it, Draymond Green finished third and all for Defensive Player of the Year. And one of the things people don't understand about Steph, you get mesmerized by his offense, but he's one of those guys that can, you got a guy like Van Vliet, he can guard. You look at Moody, you look at this whole team, Looney, who I love, who can come in and give you good minutes off the bench. They do so many things because they're a veteran team. They're smart. They know how to put you in a position that you're uncomfortable with. The next thing you got a turnover, they got a fast break. And also, when you pay such close attention to guys like Steph, it allows their bench to come out and get like 42 points. So it was just a great game plan.
At one point, Gary Payton II had 9 straight points for the Warriors in that fourth quarter. And the point about defense is a good one. Too often, folks forget how good Golden State has been defensively over this incredible run. They were 7th in defensive efficiency over the course of the regular season, number 1 after they acquired Jimmy Butler. And even without Butler, they were able to get it done and make the big plays in the fourth quarter. How did they overcome Butler's absence tonight?
I think the bench had 42. You think about Buddy Hield, who came off, and you said Gary Payton, who had those points in a row. when you got contribution by guys like that you're not expecting, because you know what Steph is going to do. You know what Draymond's going to do. You know what all the other guys are going to do. But that bench with 42 was exceptional. And sometimes you forget about guys like Buddy Hield, who at one point, he led the league in three-point buckets made. And then you got guys like Gary Payton, who you always forget about. Then you look at it in the book, he's a plus this, a plus that. He does all the little smart things, because when you think about him, you say, okay, he's not going to score. But the fact that you draw so much attention at the other guys on the team, that he's allowed to use his smarts and slip and get easy buckets. So I love the way Peyton is playing.
Hield is second only to Steph Curry, by the way, and made threes over the last 5 years. It's crazy that they're on the same roster.
Yeah, it's crazy on the same roster. It makes you defensively. You have to guard the arc. There's no gravity to, dribble drives to the paint. But when we talk about them, we talk about Ron Adams, who put that defense together for Golden State. I played for Ron Adams in OKC. He created the turn in OKC with the Westbrook and the Kevin Durant young group. I was a part of that in the beginning. This is interesting. Previous game, Jalen Green has 25 field goal attempts, 18 from the 3 field goal attempts. Tonight, he only has 11 field goal attempts and only 5 from the 3-point attempt. So they did a great job of defending him, limiting his touches, Jalen Green's, limiting his 3-point attempts, making him play a different type of game, forcing him to take tougher shots, then denying him the ball, being more aggressive, and you've seen at the end still staying chippy.
And there's a lot to be learned for this Houston team. They have a chance to be really good over the next couple of years, but this is incredibly uncomfortable right now for them. They're in San Francisco facing a 3-1 deficit, potentially, if they can't win on Monday night, and maybe Jimmy Butler is back.
With a 104-93 victory, Steph Curry got it going. Hey, when he's off the court, they're not the same team, but he came back, and they are a very different team. 36 points, 7 rebounds, 9 assists. They did all of this without Jimmy Butler. They got some timely, I think Buddy Hield had 17 points. GP the second, 2. He came off the bench. Man, and he was sensational, playing outstanding defense and made some timely threes, and he really closed the game out. Steph Curry is the oldest player in NBA history to have a playoff game in which he scored 30 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists with 5 made threes. Steph Curry assisted or scored on 16 of the 23 points they had in the third quarter. The Warriors did not score a single basket when Steph wasn't on the court in the first half. That just goes to show you just how valuable he is, because he opens it up for so many other people, because you have to double him because he has unlimited range. Juan, you're watching this game, and it looked like Houston, like, oh, damn, Houston might go on the road and steal the first one on the road. Playing very, very well. Jalen Green was playing out of his mind. Şengün, DB Dylan Brooks playing well, but he got in foul trouble. He goes to the bench. What did you like about what you saw from the Warriors, and how were they able to pull this out after being behind the majority of the game?
Actually, to be honest, I like the fact that, Steph obviously played great. He's going to have a monster game with Jimmy being out, but man, Buddy Hield and Gary Payton II, man, came up huge. When those guys score the basketball, they become real dangerous, and that's what they need, because Draymond Green at this point in his career is not going to score the ball. He's going to do a lot of intangibles. He's going to rebound. He's going to defend. He's going to get some steals. So they got to get scoring for Steph. When Steph, you got to have somebody else that's going to help Steph out. And that's what made it great tonight, to see those guys step up. You never know what's going to happen with Golden State. Steve Kerr's been messing with Kuminga this series too. Hasn't really been letting him play. So you don't know who's going to show up big, especially with Jimmy out. But huge game. And Steph being Steph, that's one thing about, Steph probably can win 2 games in the series by himself. And this was one of them tonight.
Yeah, at this point in his career, Draymond he's never been a scorer. He doesn't really look to score. He's looking to do a great job of handling the ball, setting great picks, rebounding, defending, as you mentioned, and initiating the offense. Gary Payton, the second in the fourth quarter, he had 11 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. He was 100% from the floor, 100% from the 3. He played exceptional in the second. When he got in there, he and Buddy Hield, as you mentioned, Twan. Ocho, what'd you like about what you saw from the Warriors?
I mean, listen, I like what I saw from the Warriors. Obviously, Steph did what Steph normally does. But listen, like Twan said, I thought the Rockets was going to steal a game, especially with the way they were playing Steph. They had somebody running, tracking him everywhere, all over the court. Them young boys, everybody over there young. So they trying to set screen to set picks, and they on Steph, and they contesting everything, making every shot difficult all the way up until the half. And listen, he just exploded in the second half. hitting a lot of shots. But I think one of the reasons with Jimmy Butler being out, obviously you need a Steph to have a game like this today, and he can go off like this and win a game by himself. He had 36, 12 or 23. But the supporting cast, Buddy Hield went crazy with 17. Gary Payton Jr. contributed as well with 16. And the Warriors bench outscored the Rockets 42-31. And that was a major factor in why they were able to win this game.
Well, it looked like they started out early, Twan. They was blitzing him. They was trapping him, getting the ball out of his hands. They want to make him give it up. And if you notice, later in Steph's career, Steph is, sometimes I thought early, he would force the three. Steph doesn't have a problem putting the ball on the floor and going to the basket now, Twan. That makes him dangerous because they've used before, like, hey, nah, bro, we're not worried about you driving the ball, so we gonna hug up on you. Nah, Steph said, nah, he handles too good, bro, because I can put it on, I can go behind my back between my legs and I can finish with either hand. And he's unafraid to shoot that mid-range also. So his game, when he gets that three ball going, when he shoots the ball and he's turning, he's starting, hey, I got something for y'all. Y'all get that up out the net. They dangerous, Twan. They dangerous.
Listen, I just think with Houston, Udoka has to respect the fact that Steph Curry is who he is. Obviously, he's one of the greatest players of all time. You got to double it, take the ball in his hands. You got to make one of those other guys see if they can get 20, 25 points tonight. You can't allow Steph, especially a game. Once Jimmy Butler was not playing, I would have doubled Steph the whole game. I wouldn't allow Steph to beat me. I would have seen if Kuminga. I would have seen if Buddy Hield, Gary Payton II. Even though Buddy Hield and Gary Payton II, I thought played terrific tonight. Let's see if they can do it in all series long. I'm not going to just let them beat me. I can't let Steph beat me. If he has, he's going to have one of those nights where nobody's going to be able to. But you got to flat out guard him and double team him as much as possible and make somebody else beat you if Houston wants to win. Because Houston don't have enough scoring. I love Houston. I love their mentality. I love the way they play. They play hard. But in this league, you got to score some points. They just don't have enough firepower offensively. So if you're not going to be able to score the basketball, you got to defend at a really, really high level.
I think the thing is, Twan, is that they're so athletic and they're used to getting up and down. But come playoff time, they're going to make your ass play in the half court. So you better be able to run some sets. And that's if you go back and look at Golden State, look at when they made their run, they were able to run set. Steph is perpetual motion. He's not going to stop. So if you think you got him guarded on one side, you better tell the guy, hey, Harry, come over to you so he can be on his best behavior because somebody's going to set a pick. Because so you have to watch him. You have to keep your eyes on him at all times. Because if you turn your head for just a second, he'll backdoor you, or they're hitting that flare to him to the corner, and then now he's splashing a three in your eyes, and you're like, well, damn. And you can guard good for 21, 22, 23 seconds, and he'll let the ball go, and it splash. And it's so demoralizing when you play defense for that long, Twan, and you don't have anything to show for it. Go ahead, Ocho.
No, I'm going to say the same thing. I think the Rockets did a very, very good job in trying to contain him and do as much as they can to disrupt his rhythm, obviously in the first half. But no one would, even though they have the younger legs, they were unable to continue to do that. Obviously, Steph going off, and at some point, he's one of those players and no matter what the game plan is, you just hope to contain him because you're not going to be able to stop him, and that's what Young Bull did tonight.
Yeah, the thing is, if he see one or two of them go in, and you can play the perfect defense, and you saw he'll start falling out of bounds and launching the ball. You're like, that ain't got no business going in. That should not have fallen, but it does, and it gives him a jolt of energy. So now you got your work cut out for him because, like Twan say, you might have to blitz him or trap him at half court. You got to make him give that ball up and make someone else beat you. Let's see if Buddy Hield can go get 36. Let's see if Gary Payton II, if he can go get mid-20s, because I cannot let Steph do what he does and let these auxiliary guys do what they do by adding to that. If you do that, you're asking for a lot. But I agree with you, Twan. I thought with minus Jimmy Butler, I say, you know what? Anybody but Steph. Anybody but Steph. ABS. Anybody but Steph.
And you know what? And I have a lot of respect for you, Doug. I think he's one of the great young coaches in the league. I just got to make somebody else beat me. I cannot let Steph beat me. Once Jimmy Butler puts a DMP and he don't put that uniform on, I'm making somebody else beat me. I just can't do it. I can't see Steph with 37, 40 points and really controlling and dominating the game. I'm pretty sure they're going to look at the film, and Udoka's a little stubborn. We all know that. You got to give. I mean, Steph is probably top 10, top 15 player to ever play the game. Let's
Yes.
respect that, and let's double team. Let's respect it
Yes.
and double team them and force somebody else to beat you. You can't just play hard-nosed defense unless you got one of those guys. I know Dylan Brooks is his defensive specialist, and he knows he's tough. But if you don't have a guy that's going to chase and run for 40 minutes, what Steph is going to do, and the guy that's going to have the ball in his hands the whole game, just double team him, get it out of his hands, and make somebody else beat you.
Well, I thought Dylan Brooks got in foul trouble. And the problem is that he knows the type of defense that Dylan Brooks is going to play on him. I think you got to give him a lot of different looks because it's just like anything. You give a guy enough, he'll build up in the resistance to it. And he'll understand, okay, this is how you're going to play me. This is the way you play. Okay, this is what I need to do. So, and once Dylan Brooks got in foul trouble, they tried Amin Thompson on him. They tried some other different guys. But now you let him see a couple of those shots go in. And the NBA is such a rhythm game. A guy that might not be one of these great players, he see a couple of shots go in.
And also too, don't forget to add Golden State at home. So Golden State at home. So tend to play better. Not only just the role players play better at home, your main guy play better at home. I mean, obviously you want your star to get you a big game on the road, but Steph has huge games in that arena. You got to think about that too, that home crowd too. So I'm just going to try to disrupt them, get them out their rhythm. They're missing a key piece. When they're missing Jimmy Butler, a guy that brings so much to their team, you got to double team Steph. There's no other way that you're going to be able to beat Golden State, especially at home, because those others are going to play better at home. They at home, it's kind of like it's an ongoing saying that the others play.
So staying out west, Steph Curry carries the Warriors to a win without Jimmy Butler. Of course, Q, what was catching your attention after that performance?
It was like we talked about yesterday. We knew that Houston was going to throw everything but the kitchen sink at Steph. But Steph, being the chef and one of the greatest ever, he showed up in big-time fashion. You saw what Jimmy Butler said. He said, "Thank you, Batman." Batman showed up and saved the day. Big-time 36. Listen, they guarded him. Some of these possessions was some of the best defense you may ever see on Steph Curry. Amin Thompson was all over him. They sent several guys. They jumped him. They blitzed him. They were physical. They did everything, and Steph still responded at every turn.
Yeah, this was one of Steph Curry's best playoff performances, really. If you look at the level of defense played against him, not having a second option, the fact that, look at the guys who was around him and the way that he basically had that offense on a string, confounding that Houston Rockets defense, confusing them and torturing them. But also, we can't neglect the fact that on the other side of the ball, Draymond Green also put together one of his best playoff performances. There is a huge difference between Defensive Player of the Year and the best defensive player in the world, and that is Draymond Green. He was able to anchor that small lineup in the last 4 minutes against a large Rockets team, and they were a plus 100 net rating in that last 4 minutes, with Draymond being essentially the only big player there. He was boxing out. He was rebounding. He was getting steals. He was blocking anything that the Rockets tried to do. This was a textbook Draymond Green performance. And also shout out to GP2, who was setting those screens for Steph and had wide open lanes and executed in that fourth quarter. The 22 championship Warriors team really showed up last night.
Yeah, you saw it clearly. Gary Payton Jr. with those 16 points, huge as well. Game 4. It's in San Francisco on Monday. Warriors up 2-1. We'll see where this goes, guys. Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Dub Nation. Last night's game was marked by mixed emotions for Golden State Warriors fans. The team shined on the court with a crushing 148-106 victory over the San Antonio Spurs, but the joy was tempered by concern for Jonathan Kuminga, who re-injured his right ankle, the same one that sidelined him for 31 games this season. This is a serious concern, especially with the playoffs approaching and the team needing a fully healthy roster. Kuminga's injury happened in the second quarter when he attempted an aggressive drive and landed awkwardly. At first, there were fears it might be a tailbone injury, similar to what Stephen Curry suffered in 2021, but tests confirmed it was a new sprain in the same ankle. He'll be re-evaluated tomorrow to determine the severity. Warriors fans are understandably nervous. Kuminga is crucial both offensively and defensively, especially in transition and switch-heavy defensive schemes. Despite the injury scare, the Warriors delivered a phenomenal team performance. They scored a season-high 148 points, dished out 42 assists, grabbed 17 steals, and notched 34 fast break points. Brandon Podziemski had a standout night, hitting 7 of 9 from 3, while Moses Moody broke his cold streak by shooting 7 of 11 from the field and 3 of 6 from deep. The defense was equally impressive, holding the Spurs to just 17 points in the second quarter. Jimmy Butler, criticized after a slow start against the Pelicans, came out with intensity, stealing the ball, finishing dunks, and hitting all 4 of his free throws. Coach Steve Kerr used the blowout advantage to give minutes to bench players like Kevin Knox, Pat Spencer, and Trace Jackson-Davis. Jackson-Davis particularly impressed with his athletic finishes at the rim, sparking calls for him to get more minutes. With this win, the Warriors remain in 6th place in the Western Conference, avoiding the play-in zone, for now. The standings are tight, especially with the Clippers slipping and the Grizzlies in disarray after firing their head coach. The upcoming matchup against the Grizzlies could be decisive for playoff positioning. Kuminga's value to this team is evident. His versatility, explosiveness, and defensive presence are essential. His recent return had bolstered the team's defense, so this new setback could be costly. A serious injury now would be a major blow with only 8 games remaining. Steph Curry continues to play at an MVP level, and the team seems to have found a late-season rhythm. The hope is to ride this momentum into the postseason and secure a direct playoff berth. All eyes are now on Kuminga's medical update expected tomorrow. But another key question looms: should the Warriors offer Kuminga a max contract? If not, would they be willing to match an offer from another team? The decision ahead is pivotal. Letting the market dictate his value might be the best move. A reasonable offer could be a 5-year deal worth $150 million, a commitment that secures Kuminga's future without destroying cap flexibility. What do you think? Should the Warriors pay the max to keep Kuminga? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. The season is far from over, and the team must build on this momentum. There's also the lingering question of adding a rim-protecting big man, which could be addressed in free agency or via trade. With Steph Curry entering the twilight of his career, the front office faces massive decisions this offseason. Will they push for one final championship run or begin a financial reshuffle to reset the roster? Either way, the stakes are sky high and fans are watching every move. Be sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next update. This journey isn't over, and if you're a true Dubs fan, you'll want to be here every step of the way. Go Dubs!